Yo, someone forgot to tell this 16-year-old that the whole point of can crushing is that the can isn't supposed to fight back. All right, all right, all right. Welcome back to WMAC Now with your host, Chuck Stevenson, coming at you with a fight review. So we're going to Tokyo, Japan, Shinkiba Studio Coast for Pancrase number 310. We're going to the atomweight division. Sayako Fujita coming in at 4-1, taking on 16-year-old high schooler Hong Ye-Rin, making her professional debut. So two things I noticed going in. One, this was meant to be a can crushing fight for Fujita, who was making her promotional debut for Pancrase. And the second thing I noticed when I saw photos of the weigh-ins and then saw them in the cage was that Fujita cut a lot of water weight to make atom weight, whereas Hong looks like she stepped right off the school bus, came in and weighed in. So getting into the fight itself, first round started and they're striking, and I was surprised. Hong was able to stuff Fujita's first takedown defense. It looked like a double leg. Then Fujita was muscled her up against the cage. Some bullying by Fujita against the cage before she landed a nice leg sweep takedown. And then they're on the ground. And let me tell you something. Hong's flexibility very much surprised me. She said she came from a kickboxing background, but she showed some ground skill, and she brought her one leg up way up high. Not quite rubber guard, but like a variation of it. Fujita was able to get to side control at about 3-minute mark, land some elbows, and then Hong was able to get back to full guard. And then about the 4-minute mark, Hong latched on an armbar and basically spent the rest of the round trying to get that armbar, and Fujita was constantly trying to defend it for a whole minute, basically. In the second round, Hong started off. She was smart. She tried staying at range, using her striking. But again, Fujita muscling Hong to the cage, got her there at about a minute 30. Hong fell temporarily, but was able to get back up. Some more clinch fighting, and then a trip by Fujita against the cage at about the 2:05 mark. But again, Hong caused another scramble to get back up. There was a nice 1-2 in the midway point of the second round by Hong. But again, Fujita muscled Hong to the cage, lands a toss to side control. Of course, then Hong was able to kick Fujita off to get back to her feet. Some dirty boxing in the clinch by Fujita, landing some nice dirty boxing there. And then, like right before the bell, Fujita went for a double leg and was barely able to get it in time for the bell. So going into the third, I had Fujita up 2-0, and apparently Pancrase has open scoring now where they give the results. So the judges concurred. Okay, so in the third round, Hong was fighting smart. She was again trying to keep it range, but she got caught up a little bit in the scramble, and Fujita was able to land a double leg at about the minute 15 mark. Fujita this time was keeping Hong against the cage and landing some nice GMP, particularly with the elbows. There's a pair of up kicks by Hong when Fujita had stood up in the guard, but the scramble allowed Fujita to pass north-south. Hong was able to get back to half, and then the rest of the round was spent with Hong and Fujita's half guard, or excuse me, Fujita and Hong's half guard, landing some ground and pound to close. So I saw Hong down 3-1, or 3-0, and the judges concurred, giving all three scores of 30-27 for the winner by unanimous decision, Sayako Fujita. This fight was Fujita's promotional debut for Pancrase and the first atomweight fight. This was basically meant to be a setup fight for Hong, or like a fight that she was meant to win easy to look good in her promotional debut. And I think they obviously didn't do enough scouting on Hong. I mean, they brought in a high schooler who had some kickboxing experience but no MMA experience. They probably figured, well, here we go. It's another matchup for Fujita she'll get the girl to the ground and be able to win easily enough from there. And it sort of backfired. So Sayako Fujita, your winner by unanimous decision. All right, so that was the fight. So things to work on. For Hong, one big thing was I noticed she would get caught up in those striking exchanges, and she would lose her composure a little bit and get caught up in them. And that's when Fujita was able to either muscle her to the cage or go for the double leg takedown. So she needs to not get too caught up in those striking exchanges. If you're doing well at range, stay at range. Don't get caught in the pocket like that. Another thing I noticed that I thought she could work on, while she was very good at initiating scrambles to get back up, one thing she didn't do too much of was walking up the cage using her back. I thought she could learn. She could definitely work on that a little more. Overall, I was really impressed by Hong. She's 16 or 17. I think she's actually 16. Korean age measures it weird. But very good in her debut performance. Even in a loss, I thought she looked composed for the most part. Did very well on the ground against a ground fighter, and she's supposed to become for striking background. So pretty impressed by her overall. Fujita, she needs to start using her strikes to set up her takedowns. Stop just bull rushing your opponent to the cage. Stop just using your muscles and strength to get stuff done. Use your striking and use your skill. I mean, basically, just stop relying on brute strength and a size advantage for everything, to get everything done. I mean, the trips are nice. When she does the trips, those are nice. But, when she always does them off the cage, and the only way she really gets her opponent there is by either bull rushing her or basically just muscling her up against the cage. So, she needs to learn other ways, because eventually she's going to run into an opponent who can't be out-muscled or can't be out-bullied. And Hong actually did a fairly good job of showing that in this fight. My overall thoughts on this fight was that this was, again, supposed to be a setup fight for Fujita to look good in her her promotional debut. And she did get the win, but it wasn't as easy as it was probably meant to be. Because normally, some promoters will give a tune-up fight that'll, challenge a fighter a little bit, but, they'll still win. They just show a little bit of challenge in there. That's really not the JMMA way. The JMMA way is normally just give an opponent that someone will just completely blast through. And if you go back and watch Fujita's fights in Gratchen, that's basically what it was. She kept getting fighters who were primarily strikers with limited to no ground game. And, I mean, that's been Fujita's entire short career pretty much. She came in this one 4-1, and she never really fought a good ground fighter. And that's pretty much what you can tell Pancrase was trying to do here. They gave her a younger fighter with no MMA experience and who admitted came from a kickboxing striking background. And it didn't work out as well as it was meant to. Anyway, that's my thoughts on the fight. Let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. Of course, likes are always appreciated. And hey, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to WMMA now, the best, fastest growing women's mixed martial arts dedicated platform on YouTube. And we'll catch you next time.